Welcome to the Desert Gridiron Gameplan, an epic coaches show talking all things Arizona high school football. And now, your hosts, James Poovey, Ed Cole, and Parker Gurash. Take it away, gentlemen.
We welcome you in for another edition of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan here on the Epic Sports Network. James Poovey coming to you live alongside my broadcast partners, Mr. Ed Cole and Parker Gurash. Guys, we got some exciting stuff coming tonight. We're going to talk with some outstanding coaches and maybe some even more outstanding football players here in the state of Arizona.
You know, fellas, getting prepared for this show, I was so excited just getting numbers and stats from Max Preps and reading up on these coaches and these young men who are achieving. And we're about halfway through the season. We're almost in the region play. We got one more week, and then, you know, we'll get some buys and we'll go into region play. But I am so impressed by these young men who are making their way. They're rounding into form, JP and PG. And I'm so excited about Cienega. McClintock will be in Tempe on Thursday night for that game between the Bobcats and the Chargers. PG, man, what more can we say? This is going to be a action-packed show.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think, you know, the game we got on Thursday is going to be highly competitive with two very good teams, very well-coached teams as well. I know we're going to get into then the other two teams we're highlighting. It's going to be both undefeated, and one of them is going to come out still undefeated later in the show. So it's going to be a good one with a lot of top talent as well that we got in the state tonight.
Well, let's get right to it. Let's bring on head coach Justin Argraves and Matthew Fybush joining us from the Cienega Bobcats way down in Vail, Arizona. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on here with us tonight. We certainly appreciate it. Coach, just give us a brief synopsis of how the season's going so far and leading up to this Thursday's game against those McClintock Chargers.
Yeah, you know, we're getting to approaching that midway point right now, and you know, we're sitting at 2-2. Started off the season, you know, with the win over Desert Vista and Paradise Valley, and then had a couple tough losses the last couple of weeks. But you know, we're excited to get back to work this Thursday, and you know, got a real young squad right now. But I got, you know, one of my senior leaders on with me right now, Matt Fybush, who's just a tremendous leader on and off the field, and one of our team captains. So, like we said, we're excited to get on the bus and head up to Phoenix and hopefully have a great game against McClintock.
Coach, you mentioned a good start, starting off 2-0. You scored 82 points in those first two games. You were rolling offensively. Then you had you're on a 2-game losing streak. Your offense got held to 40 points during this 2-game losing streak. It was close against Walden Grove. It was 13-10 going into the fourth, and then they took over and scored 14 straight. What have you been working on during this losing streak to kind of get off the schneid, hopefully against McClintock? What have you been working on in practice with the guys? How have the guys been working in practice? How are they getting ready for McClintock, knowing it's a big game and you've got to find a way to break that losing streak?
Yeah, just, you know, we've just really harped on, you know, our focus, our intensity. You know, we caught a little bit of the injury bug early in the season, so just kind of facing a little bit of adversity right there. But you know, the kids respond well. We got a really good group of kids who come out every single day and work hard. And you know, we know we're going to have a tough opponent in McClintock. I mean, they're a tremendous football squad right now. Obviously, their record shows for it. And, you know, the numbers they're putting up offensively is impressive. But just again, like I mentioned, just the focus and intensity and the kids, you know, they definitely responded. They didn't put their heads down and mope and do any of that stuff. You know, came back to work on Monday, and you know, we're in our fall break, so this is our first week of our fall break. So that's always, you know, fun getting after when we don't have school to deal with during the day. So, you know, again, get one more practice in tomorrow, and then get ready to rock and roll here on Thursday.
Coach, I want to talk about the other side of the ball, kind of on what Ed was talking about too. You didn't give up a lot of points in both of these losses, only 13-7 to Tucson and then 27-10 to Walden Grove. Before, like, outside of giving away, of course, your full plan of how to attack this high-powered McClintock offense, what have you been working on with your younger guys to prepare them for this game on Thursday?
Just, you know, being more disciplined. I think that's definitely an area that, you know, the last couple games we started to kind of falter a little bit on. And like we mentioned, you know, we're starting 7 underclassmen on offense and 7 underclassmen on defense. So, you know, there a lot of these guys, you know, they didn't have that varsity experience to come to. But again, that's kind of where we lean heavily on our senior leaders that we have. And, you know, like we mentioned, you know, Fybush, and, you know, we got another young man, you know, Caden Thomas on the defense side of the ball. So, you know, seniors like that we kind of, our underclassmen are looking up towards, and those guys are just doing a tremendous job kind of guiding those younger guys and understanding, in full capacity what needs to be done on a day in and day out basis on the practice field and off the field as well. So that's those are the big things that we've been harping on.
Coach, you're going into your fourth season there at Cienega High School down there in Vail, Arizona. We had you guys on when Matthew was just a freshman as you guys hosted the South Point Catholic Lancers. Tell us a little bit about his playing style and what he means to this Bobcats defense as we take a look at some of his film here.
I mean, Matt is just a tough and ferocious kid on the field, and and a leader in our weight room as well. Like I said, he's been a part of the program for 4 years, a student of the game, coachable, wants to succeed in everything, and more importantly, wants to see his teammates succeed as well. So, everything that you can ask for out of a young man, we get out of Fibush, and just really proud of the growth that he's made over the last 3 years, going into a senior year right now, and really excited for this back half of the season to see what he can produce, and again watch him continue to lead our program.
Matthew, outstanding junior season, 81 tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 sacks, leading the team in tackles this year with 29 through the first 4 games. How much of an influence are you having over your defensive teammates with your play? What are they seeing you? Are they kind of emulating your play as far as your energy and the way that you attack offenses?
Yes, sir. One of my old habits was I used to hop around a lot, and we've really worked on that this year. And one of our linebackers, he is a sophomore, and his name's Ollie Bonilla, and he's really looked up to me, and his eyes and everything, his gameplay has really evolved from not only our coaches, but just through watching, through leadership.
Matthew, from watching just that film there, it seems like at that middle linebacker position, you're always able to be in the right spot, if it's in the run game or in the passing game. Where does that come from? You talk about guys that on your team maybe emulate or try to look up to you. Who are some guys that you look up to and try to emulate your game off of?
I like to look up to Luke Kuechly. I really like him. Then I wear 52 as well. So Ray Lewis, of course, one of the best linebackers of all time.
Matthew, we got a chance to see you in your freshman season there at Cienega as you guys hosted the South Point Catholic Lancers. We've had you guys on. It'll be the 3rd time in 4 seasons now. What do you think is the biggest part of your game that's evolved from your freshman year to now your senior year as the leader of that defense?
My eyes, my tackling, and my aggressiveness, I'd say, and my strength and speed, of course. As you get older, obviously your strength and speed are going to get better. But Shween does a great job with us in the weight room, and I put a lot of my success towards him, I would say, because the weight room plays a huge part on the football field.
Coach, talking about your quarterback, Julian Hanley's, he's got 800 and almost 900 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He's run the ball really well, 21 rushes. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns. What are you seeing from your quarterback so far through these first 4 games, and what can he improve on as you head toward McClintock this week?
Yeah, Julian's, he's done a tremendous job. Julian at the end of last year kind of got thrown in the fire when our starting quarterback went down with the injury the last few games this season. So he got the pull up from JV and, did a tremendous job those last few games. And, we kind of changed up our offense this year and just been a complete student of the game. One of those kind of quiet leaders, doesn't really talk too much, but does enough when needed upon himself. But he, like I said, he's done a great job, these past 4 games, moving forward into the season. I think everybody has room for growth, and him just, reading coverages a little bit better and willing to step up in the pocket a little bit more. But, he commends the offense, he commends his huddle, and obviously everyone around him looks up to him. So just really proud of the steps that he's made in the last few weeks. And again, only a junior, the sky's the limit for him, especially with his work ethic and his drive and determination.
Coach, you talked about you got 7 players on both sides of the ball that are underclassmen. Who else in that underclassmen pool of guys that you've gone to has been really stepping up in the roles that you've given them this season?
Yeah, I mean, you look at our receiving core. I mean, all of our receivers, minus our hand in the dirt tight end is an underclassman. You got Jaden Rogers, who's just a dynamic, athlete, basketball player, football player, plays both sides of the ball for us. You got, a kid like Logan Welsh, who tremendous route runner and able to shift and maneuver his body and basically get open when others aren't able to. And then we got another one by Aiden Billings. So that, those three guys all do a tremendous job and they're a cohesive unit and work together. And, him, all three of those, along with our quarterback, are all friends, been playing together for a while. So, excited to see them grow and progress and especially going into, next year, their senior year, where I think they can just even more so elevate their game.
Coach, we know this is the ultimate team game, not only from a player perspective, but from a coach's perspective as well. You've got to have a great support staff around you. Talk about the rest of your coaching staff and what they mean to your program.
Yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere without our staff. My staff, they do a tremendous job. Most of the guys on my staff, they've been with me for 10 plus years. And I know Fibush talked about, Coach Schween, that's our strength coach. We're lucky enough to have a full-time strength coach here on campus. So he does a tremendous job in the weight room. My defensive coordinator, Brian Lopez, he played for me. So, he played for me and has coached for me for the last 6 years. So he knows my expectations and we see eye to eye a lot on everything just because of our past history together. Brought in, Coach Danny Sines, who was the head coach of Catalina Foothills last year, to help work with our quarterbacks. He's done a tremendous job. So, everybody, that's one thing I feel really lucky with my staff. We all work together really well. Everyone's able to set egos aside, and, we might not always see eye to eye or agree on things, but, we have the respect amongst each other to, work together, talk it out, and ultimately put what's best for the kids first. And I really appreciative of all the guys on my coaching staff and the time and commitment that they put in every single day to these young men.
Matthew, your offense is running the ball really well, a little over 130 yards a game in the first 4 games, 6 rushing touchdowns. I would think that being able to run the football and control the clock, control the momentum, control the flow of the game against it's averaging almost 60 points a game against McClintock. I would think that's got to be one of your keys to victory against McClintock. Would I be correct in that assumption?
Yes, sir. Some of our players, go both ways. So whenever we get a chance to cut them a break or something is really beneficial, and running that clock down is going to be a huge key factor of the game.
Matthew, I got to ask too, with these last back-to-back weeks being losses, what's your mindset as one of the seniors, one of the leaders for this defense? What kind of game plan do you have going into playing such a high-powered offense?
We've handled adversity before. Like last year, we handled adversity, and you just got to stay positive, push through. Like Coach Argres always says, go 1-0 each week. So by the end of Thursday, we want to be 1-0.
Matthew Fibush, senior linebacker, and Coach Justin Argraves from the Cienega Bobcats joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We wish you good luck on Thursday night, and we will see you in just a little bit short of 48 hours out there in Tempe at McClintock High School. Safe travels, and we'll see you guys again very soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having us on.
Stay with us here. More of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan coming up after the break. We'll visit with the McClintock Chargers when we return.
Have you had the craving for the best burrito anywhere? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Burrito Express, your local burrito joint. Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Burrito Express.
With 7 Valley locations and a new South Chandler location opening soon, your new favorite burrito is just right around the corner. Burrito Express, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Kickoff on CW7 Arizona.
Coach Lynette here from Thunderbird. You're watching the Desert Gridiron Game Plan on Epic Sports Network.
We'll have those Thunderbird Titans on Thursday Night Football in just a few short weeks as they host the Yuma Catholic Shamrocks. We welcome you back here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Poovey alongside my partners Ed Cole and Parker Gurash. A pleasure to visit with the Cienega Bobcats. Ed, we always have a great time when we go down there to Cienega High School in Vail, and it should be a fun matchup Thursday night against those McClintock Chargers.
I'm so excited. It's going to be a big matchup for them, trying to slow down this young man that we're getting ready to come on. This kid has had a phenomenal season, PG. They're going to have their hands full against Jackson Knutson and that Chargers offense.
Yeah, he's playing like not just one of the best quarterbacks in the state, but one of the best players in the state. I know we're about to get into it, so why don't we just bring the Chargers on so we can get into it.
Let's get him in here. Jackson Knutson joining us here on the program. Jackson, thank you so much for your time. Do us a favor if you can and turn your phone sideways and give us that widescreen look. There we go. We can see you a lot better now. Thank you for coming on here with us. Just tell us how things have been over the first couple of weeks of the season. You have amassed, we were talking about it before we started the show tonight, some real video game type numbers. I mean, the record for touchdowns in a single season in the state of Arizona is 52, and you are already over the 20 mark. Just talk about your performance so far in this early part of the season.
Yes, sir. I'm doing pretty good, but that only comes with, my team doing good and the guys rallying behind me. So, my team's doing good. That means I'm doing good. Putting up numbers like that, it definitely comes with a little bit of risk. People are definitely out to get you a little bit more on Friday night, I would say. And, I'm not going to let it faze me at all. I'm just going to keep going.
Jackson, 13 of 14, 388 yards, 7 touchdowns against South Mountain. When you're having a game like that, how quick do you want to get back on the field when your defense is back on there? The defense is playing lights out, but when they get off the field, when they do their job, how quick do you want to get back out there and keep producing when you're putting it up at a high rate like that?
Yeah, you said exactly right. I want to get out there obviously as much as I can. When the defense does their job, it makes it a lot easier for us offensive guys to do our thing. So obviously I want to play as much offense as I can, but I mean, we'll take two play drives as well. That doesn't help. I mean, that doesn't matter. We'll take it all.
Jackson, I got to ask, this is a team that beat you guys last season, and you almost threw, I was looking at it during the break, dang near almost 300 yards in that game too. With the hot start, not just you're on, but your receiving core is on, and your defense is playing lights out too. Is there a little bit of extra juice in the locker room to try and get the win and stay undefeated on Thursday night?
I mean, yes, sir, of course. This is just another game. I know they beat us last year, but we're definitely coming in this game a little bit more juiced, a little more amped up. They got the best of us last year, like you said. So, the guys are ready to go. I'm going to make sure they're prepared and ready. And, yes, sir, we're definitely ready to go.
Jackson, you got some star wide receivers on that team in Kamon Jackson and Khalil Bender, and I'm sure it's fantastic to be able to throw to outstanding targets like that. But talk about your offensive line and what they mean to your quarterback play, how they're able to keep you upright and keep you safe in the pocket and allow you to complete those passes that you do.
Yes, sir, no doubt. The offensive line's amazing. They're some guys, they came together last year and they decided we're going to play offensive line. So that's really how that went. They do their job every single play. I mean, it makes it easier to do my job. I know the receivers like it when they block because the receivers get the ball. So, yeah, when the offensive line is doing their thing, it makes it easy.
Jackson, back to the defense. They're only giving up less than about 19 points a game. When you've got a defense playing like that, playing so well through the first 4 games, how comfortable does that make you at your position when you're going back out there? You're on the sidelines knowing that your guys on defense are going to get the job done so you can get your offense back on the field.
Yes, sir. It definitely makes me more comfortable, like you said. We got some guys on defense. So I'm just hoping that they bring that juice every single play and every single drive. A couple key guys out actually this week that we're hoping we get next week. But, defense does their thing. We'll be all right.
Jackson, I got to ask, you had a pretty productive summer. I know you were in the OT7, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you got a little bit of eyeballs on you there. But it seems like, just from, of course, watching the film right now, but looking at your stats, you play with a big chip on your shoulder. And just of course, every player is going to say they don't care about the rankings. They don't care about the stars. next to their name. But you're playing like a 5-star quarterback right now here in Arizona.
Yeah.
But how much does that chip on your shoulder? How much has that motivated you to go out and play the way you have so far in the first few weeks of this year?
Yes, sir. I mean, I really appreciate that. Thinking I'm playing like that, I really appreciate that. But, you know, it just comes with playing quarterback, you know. So all eyes are usually on you when you play quarterback. So, you know, I'm not going to let it faze me at all. Like I said, I'm just going to just keep doing my thing, keep getting guys the ball, keep making my team better every single day at practice. Just keep doing the little things.
Jackson, how has the coaching staff been able to help you improve as a person and a player over these past few seasons? We got to see you first when you were a sophomore just 3 short years ago, and now you're playing lights out right now here in the state of Arizona, and definitely destined for greatness. How have the coaches influenced your play?
Yes, sir. The coaches have done their part for sure. I've known these coaches for a long time. I played youth ball with a couple of them. Coach Gill is the running back coach over there. Coach Pete is the receiver coach. Just guys that I've known since I was a little kid, and just I'm comfortable over there. They treat me like, you know, good, treat me like family. So that's the biggest part. I'm really just comfortable, and I know that, I mean, they'll take a knife from me. So, you know, it's good.
Jackson, how much input and influence do you have on play calling from week to week? Do you talk to Coach Fell and just kind of throw out some ideas, or the OC, some ideas that you want to implement from a weekly basis, some things that you may see on film that you're like, oh, okay, well, this is what I see in Cienega. Here's how I can exploit their offense, how I can exploit their defense if we do A, B, and C.
Yep, that's exactly how I do it. You know, I watch film. I know Coach Fell, you know, he watches film a couple weeks early, so I know he's got his game plan. He's got his plays already drawn up. But, yeah, I definitely do watch film, and I see a couple stuff I like, and I write it down in my notebook. And then I'll come collab with Coach Fell, and then we'll talk about it and see what will work, look at the film a little bit more, and then ultimately decide what will work and, like, what will run.
Jackson, of course, I'm sure you know this, but touchdown-wise, 6, 5, 3, and 7 is what you threw. That's stuff I can't even do on College Football 25 with my player who's like an 85
That
overall.
is insane. That's insane, Jackson. Come on, dude.
But kind of going back to your offseason, was there anybody you worked with? Like a lot of quarterbacks say they'll work with a quarterback coach or a quarterback trainer to help you, which is your passing accuracy, which is like completely gone to another level compared to last year. But was there anybody specific that you worked with outside of the coaching staff over the summer that has helped your game just completely take off like it has?
Yes, sir. You know, I have 2 quarterback coaches. One I've had my whole life, and one that I met probably 2 years ago that has ultimately changed my life. But Dan Minucci, you know him very well. That's my guy. I work with him, train with him. I've been training with him since I've been in 6th grade, so I have to give a lot of respect to Dan Minucci and what he's done for me. And then, you know, Trey Anderson, get in there, train with him. You know, Chris Strevler, his thing ground up. They do a great job over there with those guys, and I just like what they do. So I'll get to training in with them. And then I did a lot this year, just me and my friends, my brothers, man. Kimon, Andrew Dudley, a lineman at IMG, Joaquin Encinas, a lineman at McClintock. You know, just us 4, just we want it, we seen it. We wanted it, and we ultimately grinded for it, and it's definitely paying off.
We're joined here now by head coach Mike Fell of the McClintock Chargers. Coach, thank you so much for jumping on here with us. We certainly appreciate it. First off, tell us what this young man means to your football team. He's been playing lights out. We've been blessed to be following him since we first had you guys on 3 years ago on Thursday Night Football. How has Jackson Knutson improved, and what does he mean to the Chargers offense?
Well, he's an example of a young man that, you know, has really worked his tail off, and like he's been talking about, you know, he's got other coaches, he's got a lot of things, but you know, you can have all the different coaches in the world. It depends on what kind of kid you are, what kind of young man you are. And the last couple of years, I've seen him grow leaps and bounds in, you know, the guy always had a fantastic arm. I mean, he's blessed with a cannon that very few kids, you know, have that ability. But where he's really grown is in leadership, in taking control of himself, of his team, and doing things the right way. And I'm really proud of the young man he's turned into. He's one of our captains. He's one of our leaders, and he's doing great things as a young man and as a leader, as well as what he does on the football field.
Coach, I'm sure you've ran into so many athletes in your career that they talk a good game, but they don't walk a good game. They can say everything they want, but when they get on the field or they're off the field, it's a different kind of scenario. Is it different with Jackson? What he says, he backs up as far as his abilities. He can go out and say, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to make things happen at the QB position, and I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to throw 7 touchdowns. But when I get off the field, I'm going to still be that kind of a leader. I'm not going to puff myself up and draw attention to myself. I just go out and do my job.
We got a group of young men. Like he's talking about his boy Kimon. He's leading the state right now in the number of points. He's got 15 touchdowns. Khalil Bender, our other wide receiver, he's been offered by University of Arizona and a number of other schools, and he was one of the top 5 receivers in the state. We have another wideout, Amari Scroggins, who has also been a scholarship offer guy. So he's got all kinds of guys that can throw. And so they're pretty confident. I'm not going to lie. Those guys, they're not afraid to talk a little bit either. They're kind of the modern athlete. They're the guys you see on Saturday afternoons. They splash and they do their things, but they're great kids. They're fun to be around. I love coaching them, and they get the job done. So they're big time football guys.
Coach, there is 29 undefeated teams in the state left. Of course, your team being one of them. What has changed from last year? I saw you guys went 6-4 last season, already 4-0, looking to go 5-0 to start this year. What has changed as far as maybe the scheme, offensive, defensive wise for your team, or just what is the overall? What's been the switch for this team with the start they've had so far this year?
Well, we were grown as a program. When I got the job a couple years ago, we had a lot of guys that just, they weren't afraid to miss practice. They didn't work real hard in the weight room. They just had the mentality. They were just playing football because it was the thing to do in the school a little bit. Last year, we started turning it around. We lost a couple close games, but we were in every football game. And, I knew that if we continued on that upward trajectory, we would be in a, really good shape this year. We had probably, I think we had 17 starters coming back, and all of these skill guys were coming back, and our offensive line was coming back. So offensively, we knew we would be real solid. Defensively, we had to hold secondary back and linebacker. We had a couple young men who were underclassmen defensive linemen that moved away, so we knew our D-line had to come through, and we've had guys come through. So we had a good feeling that we were going to be pretty good if we did the work over the winter and the spring and the summer. And so, we had 7 months of constantly telling, I said, boys, we're going to be really good. Now, there's a different level of that. There's good teams, there's good teams that win some games. There's great teams. And then there's the ones that do championships. What do you want to be? And are we going to get to that level? And so, we've been talking about it, and, we're working our way right now in the old story, one game at a time. So, this football team we're playing Thursday night is a very good football team, and they beat us last year. So we're looking forward to it.
So.
Head coach Mike Fell and quarterback Jackson Knutson joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. When I watch you guys' offense, I can't help but think about the old St. Louis Rams team, the greatest show on turf with all those great wide receivers. And then you got Kurt Warner back there just spinning it just like Jackson's doing this season. We're excited to see you guys once again this Thursday night. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in just a couple short days.
Hey, thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
More of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan coming up. When we return, we'll visit with the Micah Mountain Thunderbolts and Coach Pat Nugent. Stay with us.
Have you had the craving for the best burrito anywhere? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Burrito Express, your local burrito joint. Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Burrito Express.
With 7 Valley locations and a new South Chandler location opening soon, your new favorite burrito is just right around the corner. Burrito Express, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Kickoff on CW7 Arizona.
We welcome you back here to the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partners, Mr. Ed Cole and Parker Gurash. Guys, a great Thursday night matchup we got coming up on CW7 Arizona as the Cienega Bobcats travel up to Tempe from Vail, Arizona to battle those McClintock Chargers. And man, what an offense that McClintock team has.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. But another fun one is going to be on Friday night up in Casa Grande. And we are going to, oh my gosh, Micah Mountain in Casa Grande. That's going to be a battle as well. I cannot wait for that one too. 2-4-0 teams.
Let's get those guys in here right now. Head coach Pat Nugent of the Micah Mountain Thunderbolts joining us here on the program. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. We're excited to visit with you this evening. We had you guys on Thursday Night Football during your first varsity season. And honestly, we're looking forward to maybe coming out there next year for a little Thursday Night Football if you'll have us down there. But give us a brief synopsis of the early part of the season as you guys are getting ready to battle the 4-0 Casa Grande Cougars in what should be a great 4A matchup on Friday night.
Good, guys. Thanks for having us on. I got Jaden with me here also. We're a big volleyball game for my daughters here at South Point and Micah Mountain, 2 great teams, but taking a little break in the 4th set here. We've had a great start of the season. Defensively, we've had 3 shutouts, and we knew this was going to be a great football team we had this year. We had a lot of kids returning. We're still a young program. This group was, we had to play sophomores that first two years ago, and these kids have been on the field for a long time, so they understand what it takes to play big games. And last year was a great run until we ran into CDO, and we've had the experience, so we started out pretty good this year. But we know Friday night's going to be a real challenge. Casa Grande's got a great team.
Coach, you mentioned those 3 shutouts. What are you seeing in your defense that's gotten Mesquite no points, Sabino no points, and Sunnyside no points?
Yeah, our front 6 is just amazing right now. We're running what we call it G front. It's a nose, 3. We've slid the guy down. So, our linebacker crew, our front 6 are just unbelievable. We were able to rotate about 7 or 8 guys. So they're doing tremendous damage, creating Jimmy Leon's obviously one of the highlighted kids. But we returned the entire D line from last year. So experience-wise, we have it. So they're just getting after the ball, and our secondary hasn't had to do much because our defense line is getting after the quarterback.
Coach, I think really what both Ed and James has said, I'm really impressed just looking at it. Like 3 straight weeks of 0 points your defense has given up. And even your first game, it was 8 points. How do you hope to continue this run? Of course, you're going up against a very talented Casa Grande team who's got a lot of weapons, but what's been the message to your defense and also your offense to continue this win streak that you guys are on?
The biggest thing we've talked about, we got to stop the run. That's been the highlight. And obviously, when you stop the run, it makes them put the ball in the air. And obviously, we've got some skilled kids in the secondary. So that's helping us a whole lot. But, we haven't seen a passing offense like we're about to see on Friday. They've got tremendous talent. The tight end is a beast, and they just got a lot of skilled kids. So we're going to have to do the same thing. Last year was a great game with them, 45-28 last year. And we understand our defense doing a great job, but our offense got to get into it a little bit. I here with Jaden Thornton, our 3-year starter, and Jaden knows he hasn't performed the expectation that he liked. And we're hoping the offense gets rolling a little bit this week and get on the board. And we're going to have to put points up to keep them, a little bit quiet over there.
For the Micah Mountain Thunderbolts here, joining us on the program. As we take a look at some of your film, Jaden, let's talk to you for a minute. What does it mean to be the leader of this ball club? Coach mentioned you've been a 3-year starter. We had you on during you guys' first varsity season as you took on the Post and Butte Broncos. How have you evolved over the past couple seasons, and what does it mean to you to be the leader of the Thunderbolts?
It means a lot. I've built great relationships with this whole team. Going into this, my final year, we have replaced everyone that I went through high school with. So it is a little different, but this team's building great relationships, building chemistry on the field right now. And it's going to be a good rest of the year for us.
Jaden, you found a way to spread the ball around so well. 9 different wide receivers have gotten in the action this year. You're talking about building chemistry, building that relationship with your brothers. Is that what it is about? Is that how good this offense can be and how dangerous it can be, considering you've got all these weapons that you can throw the football to?
Yes, sir. We've got the speed. We've got the size. I mean, everyone on this team can catch. They're fast. We've got great running backs in the backfield with JoJo and or Jordan Perry. So, yeah, we can definitely spread the ball around and do what we want.
Jaden, your team's got 9 rushing touchdowns on the year, 7 passing for you with those 2 interceptions. How comfortable are you in this offense? Of course, being a senior, you've been able to have a couple of years with this team. But like you said, a lot of the guys you played with these past couple of years are now gone. You're having to play with a couple of new guys, new core pieces. But how comfortable are you in this offense you guys have been able to do so far at the 4-0 start?
At this point, I'm really comfortable. I mean, this is my 4th year here, so I know the offense. I know what we want to do. 2-minute, hurry up. We're comfortable. The whole team is. So, yeah, I mean, I think I can trust the guys. They know what they're doing, so it's a pretty comfortable experience.
Jaden, what does it mean to you to really be a pioneer of sorts, being the first true varsity quarterback there at Micah Mountain High School from the get-go, and ways down the line you'll be able to tell the grandkids, hey, I was the first quarterback for the Micah Mountain Thunderbolts. Does that carry any weight with you, and how special is that?
Yeah, it's super special to me. I mean, not only me, but a bunch of other guys, we get to set records that might not ever be broken, so it's definitely a special experience. It's something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and it's a great opportunity.
Jaden, when you go back and watch film over the first 4 weeks, what are some things that you want to continue working on? The numbers are good, almost 400 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions, good TD to interception ratio. But what are some things, how nitpicky are you with your game when you're watching different tendencies some things in the game that you're like, I think I can tighten that up. I think I can get rid of that part of my game and introduce this part of my game.
Yeah, I haven't been the most comfortable these first 4 games, and I'm not playing like myself. I just need to trust my guys, do what I know, do what Coach Nugent's taught me throughout these years, and just go out there and have fun.
Coach, for you, this is, again, the start to a little bit of a tough schedule for you guys. Casa Grande, of course, you got Pueblo, Canyon del Oro, Saguaro, Walden Grove, and Catalina Foothills to end the season. What's been the continuing message to the guys in the locker room to keep the confidence built up that they clearly have so far through these first 4 games?
Well, we came in the year with high expectation. We made it to the state semifinals with a very young team. So this group knows that, it's kind of pressure. And, we talked about Jaden a little bit. I think he's gone in with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The returning starter for the last 3. And he's going to have records for the rest of his life around here because he's been a 4-year kid. But, we expect awful lot of things from this group. And they know that the finals is where we want to be. And we know we're going to have some competitive challenges throughout the season. And, but we work hard every day. The weight room, we just, we're on fall break right now, but kids put an extra hour in the weight room after practice today. And, we're doing those things that are needed to get to the championship game. And that's kind of where we want to be. The experience of playing CDO in the semifinal is great because just like CDO the year before, they made it to the semis and they figured out what it took to get to the finals and win a title. So these guys have been there, done that. So hopefully we can continue to grow and get better each week.
Coach, you are a very legendary coach down there in Southern Arizona, and you've now been at Micah Mountain for a few seasons now. You got a couple seasons under your belt there. How have you been able to put your stamp on this Micah Mountain Thunderbolt program?
One of the nice things about it was you take over a brand new program. So the kids didn't know anything else. And I think I've taken over some bad programs, and you've got to change the culture. We had to build culture, which is sometimes easier because there wasn't anything in place. And we came in after the COVID season and just kind of got it rolling. And, the kids, you tell them to jump, they jump as high as you wanted them to because they didn't know anything better. So it was kind of nice. And we put the entire staff that came from Cienega came over, and we just continued to build and got better each year, and the kids bought into what we were teaching them.
You're muted, Ed.
You guys get me?
Wow, I'm just talking to myself. Sorry about that, Coach. I'm just going on and on. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's start over again. PG, whatever. So I was talking when I was muted. You mentioned how many problems that the Cougars present offensively with Luke Keaton. He's got like 1,200 yards passing, 13 touchdowns. Your defense is playing outstanding, obviously with 3 straight shutouts. When you look at Luke and that offense, what kind of problems do they present to your defense?
Well, they're athletic, and they spread the ball around. That we thought when we were going into the week we'd have one guy to really focus on, but they've got multiple weapons, which is the scary part. You can't just focus on one guy. So we've understood that a little bit, and they want to spread you out. But our kids are excited because our secondary hasn't done much work the last couple of weeks, and they're excited to play. And we know we're going to get on film, and kids want to show their best when they're getting on film, and that's important to them. So we've got to find a way to shut down multiple people, and that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, who's been some other guys? Of course, you talked about Jaden. He's going to be a legendary player, an athlete for your guys at school. But who are some other players on this team that have really stood out this year for your program?
Well, obviously I'm going to focus on our defense. Our defense had an unbelievable year. With George Flores is a kid that's been a two-way starter for us. Jason Criswell, another two-way starter for us on the O-line, D-line. Obviously, we talk about Jimmy Leone. He's been just a super player for us and plays both tight end and DN. So those are the 3 main guys. But, we got a young man, a junior, that's Broden Smith, who's been a linebacker for 2 years for us, and he's just lights out and flying all around the field making tackles. So we've got players, JoJo Thornwell was a kid he's been a freshman, 4 years ago, and I can't believe he's a senior already. But, those guys, and Jordan Perry, another running back, unfortunately we lost our number 1 running back. Connor Handgartner broke his ankle the first week of the season. So Connor had a great year last year, and unfortunately, but we had guys be able to fill in, and we've got talent in the backfield.
Coach, talk to us about your coaching staff. We know that this is a team effort, and you can't do this by yourself. You got to have those guys taking care of business for you when you're not available or not able to concentrate on a position group. Just talk to us about the rest of your staff.
Yeah, really, really fortunate because, like you said, those guys they carry you. The head coach gets all the pub, but really it's the assistant coaches that do a lot of the work. But, these guys all came from Cienega. They're ex-players of mine. Brett Darling is one of the best defense coordinators. Doesn't get the highlights much, but he does an unbelievable job. He was with me even back in the CDO days. He was with me 7 years over at Cienega. And obviously he came over to build the school, took the COVID year because we weren't ready to leave Cienega at that time. And he took that brunt of that COVID year. But Brett Darling, great player. And what you said, 4 or 5 of those guys played for me over at Cienega, but really the guy that's really changed our program a little bit is Richard Sanchez. Richard Sanchez, a legend down here, Sunnyside, couple of state titles. Richard brought a different attitude to our offensive line, and it's a pleasure working for Richard every day.
Jaden, we've used the words comfort and comfortable a lot during the broadcast. Having Josiah and Jordan and others that can run the football, how comfortable does that make you back at that QB spot, knowing that you can hand the ball off and Thornwell and Perry and others can run the football at an extremely high rate, which is probably what you're going to have on Friday night against the Cougars to be able to run the football and control that clock?
Yeah, I'm very, very comfortable back there in that pocket because, you never know. Jordan's got breakaway speed. JoJo's a powerful runner, one cut and he'll go. So you never know what's coming. Big play here, big play there. So they do some great things in that backfield with me.
Quarterback Jaden Thorson and head coach Pat Nugent of the Micah Mountain Thunderbolts joining us here on the program. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We'll let you get back to the volleyball game there at South Point Catholic High School tonight. Good luck this Friday night, and we will be watching as that should be a fantastic game there in Casa Grande. Thank you again for joining us.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Stay with us for more of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. When we return, we'll visit with head coach Mark Luna and wide receiver Cameron Armstrong from the aforementioned Casa Grande Cougars. We'll be right back with more of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan.
Have you had the craving for the best burrito anywhere? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Burrito Express, your local burrito joint. Come on in.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Burrito Express.
With 7 Valley locations and a new South Chandler location opening soon, your new favorite burrito is just right around the corner. Burrito Express, a proud supporter of Thursday Night Kickoff on CW7 Arizona.
We welcome you back to the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partners, Mr. Ed Cole and Parker Gurash. Guys, next up, it's the Casa Grande Cougars. They are squaring off also a team that's 4-0 on the young season. Head coach Mark Luna and wide receiver Cameron Armstrong joining us here on the program. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time. We certainly appreciate it. And just give us a little brief synopsis and how you guys were able to get off to a fast 4-0 start this season.
To be honest with you, sir, the kids worked hard. We had a great spring. We had a great summer. They really bought into this year, knowing that we could do some big things with a lot of returners on offense. So, everything's been going pretty well.
Coach, let's start with your quarterback, Luke Keaton, just blowing up defenses, almost 1,200 yards passing, great TD to interception ratio, 13-1. What are you seeing so far from QB1?
He was a bench player last year for us, having to sit behind Altorna Gant before he transferred to Vista Grande, and when we brought him in, we were like, hey, we're going to take our time with him. We knew he could sling the ball, but we really wanted to make sure he understood the whole game of football before we just threw him out there with the Wolves. We usually do a lot of 7-on-7 type stuff during the spring. But this year we kind of backed away just so we could teach them the right way and teach them how we wanted them to do things.
Coach, your team hasn't scored under 45 points all season, the lowest being 45 points. You talked about the QB1 just now. Of course, one of the guys we have on tonight, Cameron, and then also Kendall Cade are two guys that have really stood out so far in that passing game. What have you enjoyed being able to – what's been the most enjoying part of being able to coach an offense that has been so efficient like this one this year?
To be honest, it's been fun. I watch these kids daily in practice, and I see how athletic they are, and then they're able to translate it to the field on Friday nights, and it's awesome to watch. I've been a part of some really good teams, the state championship team with Coach Barrow, and getting to watch those playmakers and, just watching these guys work as hard as they do daily, making sure things are right. It's been fun to watch.
Coach, you brought along one of your star wide receivers tonight in Cameron Armstrong. Talk to us about this young man for a moment as we take a look at some of his film here and what he means to that high-powered offense.
Yeah, Cam, you look at Cameron, you see him, he's every bit of 5'5", and he's pushing 5'5". But you know what? He's thunder in a bottle. We say he's thunder and lightning in a bottle. The kid plays like he's 6'7", 265, like our big tight end. He just plays like he's a giant. We line him out outside as a wide receiver. He's our main running back. He's our punt returner, a kickoff returner. He's just very, very electric. And I just love watching him do things. I know every time he has a opportunity to touch the ball that he's going to do something special and might score a touchdown for us.
Cameron, you got to do a lot of special things on Friday night against a defense that's pitched 3 straight shutouts. What are you going to have to do to break that and get into the end zone? You're like Park said, you're averaging about 49 points a game. So what are you going to have to do offensively to get to that Thunderbolts defense and put some crooked numbers on the scoreboard?
It really all starts with the O-line. If the O-line can give me what they got, I'll give them what I got. Everything's 110%. Every time that I get the ball, I try to, boost up, the team. Every time I touch the ball, I try to, make something happen, just to get the team hyped up and get the energy going. Because without energy, it's kind of dull. So I just try to get the team going and try to get everybody, involved.
Cameron, you had 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Paradise Valley, but last week, in at least the rushing game, 9 rushes for 115 yards. That was kind of your breakout game in the backfield. How has that kind of been good for you, being able to not just be, of course, a wide receiver and a punt returner, but really been able to get your running game going at that RB1 position?
It really feels good. It shows a lot of people that I'm capable of a lot more things than just being a receiving back or being a slot. I try to show my ability skills in the backfield, coming from the backfield. And, it really shows a big part of who I am because not when a lot of people see a small back in the backfield, it's like, oh, he's not really going to do anything. So I just try to show what I can do and make the other team feel like that I'm a threat to them. So, make them adjust to the way I play.
Cameron, being a former offensive lineman myself, I love it when a running back realizes where his bread is buttered right from the jump. Tell us what these guys mean to you, and do they know what they mean to you? Are you able to kind of show them some love during practice and love up on them a little bit and let them know how much you appreciate them opening the holes for you and allowing you to make those big plays?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I always give 100% support to my O-line. Everything starts in the trenches. My big guy, Leland Savidia, number 57, that guy, he really does a lot. And everything in the front five, they give me everything they got. So I give them, I give them guys love all the time. Like those are my main dudes right there.
Cam, you're making plays on offense, also on special teams with the kickoff returns, a 98-yarder taken back to the house. But let's talk about your defensive skills. 10 tackles and 2 interceptions, 2 of the 9 interceptions your secondary has so far this season. The importance of forcing turnovers and making plays on defense, again, against a Micah Mountain team that is really good offensively. How important will it be to make plays and make things happen on defense on Friday night?
I think it's very important. Being able to come from offense and defense and get 100% from both sides means a lot to me. That shows that my coaches can trust me on both sides of the ball, even if we come out after a very hard drive, or even if something bad happens. They trust me enough to where I could go on defense and make a play. And I really appreciate them for that. And I feel like me come out, me being on defense, and if we get the stop, it's gonna.
Coach, for you, 52-44 was the first win, but after that, your defense has only given up 20 points in these last 3 weeks. What has been the message, either with you and the defensive coordinator to your guys' defense, or maybe just you by yourself to that side of the ball, though, to be able to stop a high-powered offense like Casa Grande? Or, excuse me, like Micah Mountain. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, we've been watching lots of film on them, and they are very high-powered. I mean, they got some dogs over there, but, our defensive coordinator has come up with really good game plans. The whole defensive staff have come up with really good game plans for the last 3 weeks. And, they've really been able to get stops when we needed them, been able to create pressure and cause turnovers. So we just hope that we can continue it on Friday. Again, we know the caliber of team that we're playing this Friday. We know that they're bringing a lot to the table, so we're just hoping that we can continue to play solid football like we have been the last 4 weeks.
Coach, talk to us about the support you get there from your administration. You took over for Coach Jake Barrow just a few short years ago. Talk about Athletic Director Randy Robbins, former Denver Broncos defensive back. Have to mention that. What kind of support does he give to the football program and really help you guys out there with the Cougars?
Oh, he is very, very supportive. Randy was actually my high school football coach when I played there at Casa Grande, and he hired me back in 2015 when Jake came in. So I've been there for quite a while, and taking over as head coach these past 3 years. He's been very supportive. He's helped us with everything that we've needed. We come from a smaller community where we got to develop all our kids. I don't get transfers coming in and all that type of thing. So, we develop our kids from the time they're 8 years old and they start playing youth football. I run a youth organization, tackle football. So Coach Robbins has been very supportive and allowing us to build up our kids there on the campus, using the fields, using the facilities, just, enabling us to have a good program.
Cameron, from a personal standpoint, my oldest son's name is Cameron, so that's a great first name. I want to give you props on that. Appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you.
Question for you from me. Playing all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams, is there a switch of a mindset when you go off from offense knowing, okay, I got to go back on defense? And if something happens on defense and you guys get a score maybe, and you've got to field a kickoff on a couple of plays later, do you switch your mindset? Do you switch how you prepare for each one of those phases, each one of those plays that you run into, or do you just go out there and do what you do best, which is play football?
It's definitely a little bit of both. Like whenever I go on offense, know that every time that I touch the ball or every time that my teammates touch the ball, I know that we have to score. We have to get the ball in the end zone and we have to put up points on the board. And I feel like that's also my job as being on offense is, every time I get the ball, I got to make something happen, get my team in a position where we know that we can go back on defense and we can, keep the energy going, especially on defense too. Maybe we have a 3-and-out on offense. I know that let me go on defense and go get the ball back. We score the ball and we go on special teams. Let me go let me go make a play. Every time I get on field, I want to make a play. I want to have the opposing team to know that I'm here and my team is here. And we're not here to let down the fight.
Coach, one last question for you. You guys have had a really, of course, solid start to the year. You got a lot of tough teams coming up. Of course, Micah Mountain, and then Buena, Marana, I believe, or Morena, excuse me. Cienega to end the year. How do you hope to keep this going? You guys, of course, we talked all about how solid both sides of the ball have been playing so far through this first month of the season. But how do you hope to keep this up in hopes of a state championship run again?
Our biggest thing is, we have to stay healthy. We don't have huge numbers, so a lot of our kids play both sides of the ball. So we gotta be able to find a way to keep them in shape without without excessively doing it. We have a great strength and conditioning coach that works them daily, helps their bodies heal, keeps them in the weight room with the in-season program. So, that's our biggest thing is that we want to make sure that we stay healthy so that way we can continue on. Because yes, this game against Micah is a start of a brutal schedule coming up for us. So, and we don't have a bye week until the last week of the season. So, our biggest thing is trying to stay healthy, keep getting better weekly, and hopefully, we can go on a run here.
Coach, in the last minute or so we have here with you, tell us about the vibe of Cougar football around campus and what it's going to mean to play at home in this 4-0 against 4-0 game on Friday night, which should be a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to play at home. Last year we went into Micah, and their stadium was packed and it was rocking and it was a great vibe, and I felt their fans cheering for them, and I was like, man, I hope next year when we get that rematch with them, we can be rocking like that. But right now the student body's behind us. The student section's been packed. It's been going crazy. We've had some good crowd showing up, a lot of fans. So, we're hoping that if they can continue it, they can show up Friday night and, give us that extra boost that we need.
Well, Coach, we owe you a game from about 3 years ago. We were supposed to come down there as you guys were going to host Douglas, the Bulldogs, and unfortunately we had a mechanical breakdown and we couldn't actually get down to Casa Grande that day. So we're going to be back down there next season for Thursday Night Football, and that'll be on CW7 Arizona. So start thinking about the game that you would like to host for next season, as we know we owe you one and we have not forgotten about that.
Awesome. Thank you. We will look forward to it.
Absolutely right. Head coach Mark Luna and running back extraordinaire Cameron Armstrong joining us here on the Desert Gridiron Game Plan. Gentlemen, good luck on Friday night. Thank you again for your time, and have a great rest of the week of practice.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Great stuff right there, guys, from the Casa Grande Cougars. A 4-0 against 4-0 game on Friday night. That is going to be appointment viewing.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait for that game, as well as our game on Thursday over in Tempe with Cienega and McClintock. That's going to be a battle as well. I cannot wait to see what happens out there in Tempe on Thursday. It's going to be great. And PG, I'm glad I didn't mute myself that time. I almost left myself muted on that one.
I should have unmuted myself. I shouldn't be laughing at that, but yeah, a lot of great guests tonight. I think all four of these teams showed they got a lot of kids that have made a lot of plays. And also one thing too, a lot of high scoring games I have noticed in these things. Like I'm looking even at Casa Grande's schedule right now, and where I went to the wrong one. Like 52-44, 49-3, 48-10, 45-7. Like, again, like I was telling Jackson earlier about how his stats are like college football 25 numbers. These scores are kind of like some ones we've seen with like Power 5 schools going up against like community colleges, like Ohio State. I'm going to say that right now. Ohio State doesn't play anybody for the first 5 weeks of the season, but it's been really entertaining to see a lot of these schools have high-powered offenses and defenses, though.
No doubt about it. Go ahead, Ed.
Like you said, JP and PG, this is a huge game for both of these football teams, considering they're about to go into region play. So this is a huge it's going to be a knockdown drag-out, as you mentioned, JP. I'm so excited. And the reason why they're scoring so many points, again, their quarterback's thrown 13 touchdowns, PG, to the interception. He's playing well. Cameron Armstrong, the young man we had on, he does it offensively, defensively, special teams. These teams are so talented with guys up and down the roster that just make plays. They just play football.
Yeah, Cameron Armstrong, one of those ATHs that we like to see on those rosters, that whenever we get a chance, a guy that can play in all three phases of the game. An exciting week of Arizona football once again as we get about midway through the regular season schedule here, and we're excited for our Thursday night game over at McClintock as the Cienega Bobcats come up to battle those McClintock Chargers. Once again, thanks for everyone for tuning in tonight. Another edition of the Desert Gridiron Game Plan, and we will see you Thursday night on CW7 Arizona. 6:30 p.m. will be on the air for pregame. Kickoff is set for 7. For Ed and Parker, I'm James saying so long.